Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm here to demo something I haven't demoed before. I've used things like this in the past before, but I've never demoed one on the channel, never made a video of something like this before. So what is it? The PTM-33. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, not yet. But this is a wireless in-ear monitor system. This is actually a 4-channel one. And it's from the fine folk over at phenyxpro. They were kind enough to send this over for me to make a review video of, and to also demo it and show you how it works. And so this goes without saying that this is obviously a sponsored post. phenyxpro is not paying me to make this video, but they did send me the PTM-33 free of charge so that I could make this video. So that obviously makes this a sponsored video. So before we unbox this, what is this exactly? This is a 4-channel in-ear monitor system. And obviously an in-ear monitoring system is made for musicians playing live, right? So people that are up on stage, obviously a 4-piece band could use this pretty easily, but this is marketed towards live bands, gigging musicians. Doesn't matter if you're in a coffee shop or what have you, having in-ear monitors means that you don't have to rely on the venue making sure that you can hear yourself when you're up on stage. Anybody who's played live, and yes, I don't play live right now, but I have played live extensively in the past. Anybody who plays live knows that some venues are great at having great sound on the stage, and most venues are really terrible at it. Especially the local venues that don't have the money for expensive on-stage gear. They do tend to put all of their money into the gear that's facing the crowd, which is what's most important at the end of the day, obviously. You need your crowd to hear you, and you need them to hear you well. Because as we all know, a really bad sound setup at a concert can really make or break the show. But that goes both ways as well. If you can't hear yourself, you might mess up way more than you think you normally would. So it's nice to have control of your own in-ear monitor mix with something like the PTM-33, so that way you can control what you and the rest of the band are hearing and not have to worry about whether or not you can hear yourself through the stage wedges or any of the on-stage monitors that may or may not even be there. And for all of us guitarists that have gone mostly digital and use modelers and things of that sort, there might be little to no stage volume for you at all, and so having your own in-ear monitor mix can be extremely helpful for plugging in things like your Quad Cortex or your Kempers and your Axe effects and things of that sort, so that we can always fully hear your guitar, but you'll also be able to hear the drums, you'll be able to hear the vocalist if your band has one, the bass if that's your thing. I don't know who needs to hear the bass, but joking, of course. So the PTM-33 operates on a crystal clear mono UHF frequency band. The one that they sent me is in the 900 megahertz range. They do also offer a 500 megahertz range. Very important for you to look that up to make sure that you're getting the right one that you need, because when I told them that I needed the 500, they went ahead and researched it for me and sent me the 900 instead. So shout out to the customer service. They are fantastic at that, because I almost ordered the wrong one. So being that this is a 4-channel wireless in-ear monitoring system, that means you can have 4 different mixes. You can have 4 of the same mix. Whichever way that you want to set it up, you can have independent mixes on each of those channels. Now that's really important for a gigging band, for instance, because a singer might not want to hear themselves in the in-ear monitor mix at all. And you'll find a lot of singers that are like that. They just want to hear the instruments in there. A drummer might only want to hear the click track and the guitars, and a bassist might not need to hear anything because, you know, they might not be playing well anyways. But so having that flexibility to send a different mix into each of those different channels is actually huge, and any touring musician will agree. So before we get much further into this though, let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Got my trusty scissors here. Don't worry, they're dull. If I cut myself, it won't be too bad. Or actually, I think they say it's the opposite. If you cut yourself with something dull, it's even worse. I don't know. Let's just not cut ourselves. All right, let's get this plastic off, and I'll put it somewhere where my cats can't get to it. Well, just put it over here, I guess. All right, gonna go ahead and flip this around so all of you can see it now. All right, we've got some foam for protection here. All right, we got a sticker. We know we love our stickers. We gotta throw that on the Hydro Flask. An instruction booklet that I may or may not read. All right, and then the unit itself. This is great because it's actually quite compact. It fits into one rack unit space, which is great, so it won't take up a ton of space in your rack. What else do we have in here? I flipped that around so I could do this a little bit easier. All right, we have our antennae. Drop that down. All right, power supply. And we've got what looks like a coaxial cable. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what I'm talking about 9 out of 10 times. And we have our wireless packs. So let's go ahead and dump one of these out because I'm only going to set up one at the moment. Light, so you won't feel this hanging on the back of you. This is actually really nice and light. Like that a lot. There's 4 total of these, and this is something that I didn't see come in. They actually included the batteries. They are AA batteries, so you can get these literally anywhere, or you can buy rechargeable ones if you want to. Most brands don't include batteries with anything these days, so shout out. And then we've got all of the other various cables, which we're going to open up in a little bit here. And what are these? Okay, so these are the brackets so that you can mount it into a rack case or a rack shelf or even a rack desk if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd mount it to a desk, but you can if you want to, just by using these. I don't have anything that's rack mountable at the moment, so I won't be using those. And there are, as I said, 4 total of the wireless packs, of these little wireless packs here. So I'm only gonna keep one of them out at the moment because it's the only one I'm gonna use at the moment. All right. Close that back up. All right, so now we're gonna unpack the power supply. We've got our power pack here as well. Let's see if we can focus in on that guy there. So that's the power pack. Hand for scale here. It's not very big, that's great. Hang it on the back of your pants, your shirt, your guitar strap. You could probably just tape it to a guitar strap, to be honest with you. These are the little antennas here. All right, so now you all should be able to see my desk view down here as well. I'm filming with a phone, so that way we can finish this unboxing and set this bad boy up. All right, so that's the rear of the Phenyx Pro right now. Let's go ahead and flip it over and show you the front of it. All right, turned on some extra lights here so we can kind of see this a little bit better. But in order to set this up, we need to unpack a little bit more. I've got these batteries that need to be opened up. Don't try this at home, folks. All right, so we gotta put batteries in the battery pack first. We're gonna plug in power to this in a second here. So the wireless pack just opens up pretty easily from the front, and then we're gonna put in the 2 AA batteries into it. And then we're gonna set that aside because we won't need it just yet. Included power supply, obviously a very necessary part of this whole system. All right, BRB, I gotta plug this in. All right, let's go ahead and get this plugged in. So let's go ahead and look at the back of this for the time being because we're gonna do a couple of things here. First, we're gonna go ahead and plug this in. Then, we're going to take these antennae, I don't know how you pronounce the plural of that. We're gonna open up both of these. They kind of look like drumsticks, not gonna lie. So, I don't know, maybe if your drummer messes up and needs to borrow one, I really don't recommend that. I'm absolutely joking. All right, let's go ahead and twist that on, and then let's go ahead and twist that up. And then we'll do the same with this one here. And move those scissors out of the way. Okay. So that one's in as well. And then let's twist that around and flip that up. Let's go ahead and take a look here with this camera. Hey, little inception moment. That's it with all of the antennas installed on there. We've got the power supply installed as well. So we've got the camera down there as well. Let's open up this bag of goodies here and see what all else that we have that we need. I'm gonna dump them in front of this camera in true Ryan fashion. So we've got the screws that are for the brackets that hold the device inside of a rack unit. So I'm gonna put all of those screws away since I don't need them at the moment. And then, okay, so we've got our little headsets here. So these are the little in-ear monitor headsets, and it looks like they come with a couple of different sizes of ear tips. So I'm gonna put these other ones aside. I only need one at the moment for what we're about to do. Got that, got that. Ah, yes, it does come with these little rubber feet. I love having these because it makes them sit on a table a little bit better. Not the in-ear monitors, but the unit itself. So we'll stick these to the bottom in a little bit. Let's open up this here. Okay, nice cable, nice cable. I'm here for it. Let's go ahead and unwind this. That's the in-ear monitors themselves that we're looking at. Now, you'll notice that this is a 3.5 millimeter jack, and hopefully that's coming out on the camera. Let's see. There we go. So it is a normal 3.5 millimeter jack. That means that you can use whatever other type of in-ear monitors that you have. Like I have some from Sennheiser that I love and I've had them for 10 plus years. I can plug them straight into this wireless pack and I can use them. But what's nice is you don't have to. You get these right out of the box and you can plug these directly in. Super simply, works exactly how you'd expect. It's a decent length of cord here, but not like a stupid long cord that you're going to have to like coil up and put in your pocket. First up, let's go ahead and see which of these ear tip sizes fit me the best. All right, so we've got these separated here, and I don't know if that's gonna come across on camera. All right, so this is the largest size that they come with. They're actually pretty great at noise isolating right out of the box. So remember, not noise canceling, but noise isolating. All right, so the bigger size ear tips, actually these are the medium sized ear tips it looks like. The medium-sized ear tips look like they're perfect for me, but let's go ahead and grab the smaller ones. I know the larger ones are not going to fit me based on that, but let's go ahead and pull off the medium one and we'll put on the larger one. Something else I'm noticing is that these ear tip styles are looking like the universal ones that you can buy from brands like Comply or Comply, I don't know how to pronounce that. So you can replace the ear tips with like the foam style ear tips if you want to. And that can be extremely useful for a lot of people like me with weird ears. So I've even had the ear doctor literally tell me that I have weird ears. All right, so we've got the smaller one on there. Let's see if that fits better or not. No, it doesn't isolate. The way that you want to test this is put on one of the ear tips. And this is my way of testing it. I don't know what anybody else's way of testing it is. But my way of testing it is you put on whatever ear tip you think is going to fit. You put the device in your ear and then snap. It should sound very muffled and it shouldn't sound clear at all. You shouldn't be able to hear your snap very well. Same thing goes, you put both of them in, sounds nice and muffled. Now what's great about this is it actually helps to shield your ears from a little bit of the higher frequencies of like a drum set, for instance. Now these are not earplugs, they're not meant for that purpose, so don't use them specifically for hearing protection, but they do inadvertently help with that because they are blocking a lot of frequencies out. So we've got the wireless pack set up, we've got our headphones fit and ready to go. Let me put away the extra pieces because my cats will eat those and I don't need that kind of vet bill on my hands. One other thing that I should point out that I'm noticing now is that the kit did come with these extra cables here. Now what these will do is allow you to not have to have the antennas mounted directly to the unit itself. Why this is useful is if this is in a rack case, these antennae might not be able to stick out, right? And so you might want to run the antenna outside of the rack unit to be on top of it, especially if you're in an area where there might be some interference or anything like that. I'm inside in my own house, so I don't really need to worry about that. All right, so you know what? Let's go ahead and put the little feet on this thing first because I'm going to use this mostly sitting on my desk. So here's the little feet and they've already marked out the spots for it and everything. So I'm just going to stick all four of these right here, like so that it sits flat on my desk. All right, let's flip this guy over. I'm gonna tilt it up a little bit here and we're gonna power it on for the first time. Nice. All right, so we already see all of our lights, LEDs. This is actually really easy to read. I like the black display with the white lettering. That's actually really clean. So if we flip it back to the back here, let me flip up the antennas. So looking at the back of it, we have channel 1, we have channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. And each of these individual channels has a left and right input or just a mono input. So you can do left or right inputs or you can do just a mono input. But you also have the loop out for each individual channel, which is nice because it makes daisy chaining things so much simpler. And you can see this isn't too confusing on the back here. It's a very straightforward layout. And I definitely respect that because there's too many other things that are complicated out there in regard to live audio engineering. So this is really nice, honestly. I do have to say too, this is built really well. Like this is definitely a sturdy metal and it's not something that I see like just taking a hit and breaking immediately. The cables all feel really solid. The antenna feel really solid as well. So I'm definitely happy with the build quality here. But let's grab a cable and go out of my audio interface and into this. All right, so that was channel 1 that we have an input going into. An output going into? An output going into an input, huh? All right, so now we're all hooked up to my audio interface, and obviously this would be similar to hooking up to a stage mixer or the front of house mixer at a venue of your choice. So let's go ahead and turn on the wireless pack itself now. It's actually a really satisfying knob, the attenuator knob on it. It's not like too easy to turn, which means you're not gonna bump it while you're playing guitar or you're playing drums or anything like that. If this was too easy to turn, you can bet that your clothes themselves would hit it, let alone you when you're fumbling around and everything. All right, now, so as far as hooking this up and getting audio to come through your wireless packs, it's actually fairly simple. You just need to have the audio outputs from whatever you're outputting from, whether it be the mixer, your guitar amp, or your Kemper, your Quad Cortex, whatever it may be. For me right now, it's actually my Audient ID14 interface. So I have the headphone out going straight to the back into the left input of the Phenyx Pro. And as far as setting that up, you'll notice that channel 1 is set to group 01, channel 01. Now if I go to the wireless pack and make sure that that's corresponding, so you'll see it's on group 1, channel 1. Sorry if the glare is making it to where you can't see that. But once you have it set up like that, you should be able to just pop in the headphones and yes, I do hear my guitar. I'm gonna keep one of them out so that I can actually hear what we're talking about right now. But I have that all set up now so I can hear my guitar coming out of Logic Pro on my computer. which is nice because imagine you're like me, you're a musician with a lot of gear all over their room, right? Like I have an electronic drum set over there. Maybe it's a real drum set. I don't have one right now, but I have an electronic drum set right there. And I have guitar loops that I'm wanting to practice to, but they're playing out of Logic Pro. I don't have a laptop. I'm running off of a little Mac Mini on my desk. I'm not gonna run a ton of cables over to my electronic drum set, right? Well, the way that I have this set up coming from the headphone output of my audio interface into the Phenyx Pro unit itself and then into my wireless pack, I can just go sit down at my drum set and jam along to these songs and use my phone to control Logic Pro the whole time, making it extremely simple. Because this has about like 164-foot range, they claim, which is honestly further than I would ever need it to go. And I don't know about you, but I've never played on a stage that allowed me to go more than 164 feet away from my setup. But why this distance is still important is the fact that you can actually be on stage and this wireless system can be on the other side of the stage, it can be behind the stage, maybe even under the stage for that matter. You can run the antennas up top so that they still get the range that you would expect from it, but this can be completely out of sight and you just have your in-ear monitors in and they're good to go. And now using this loop out feature, I can then run this same signal back into all four of these independent channels. Or for instance, this could just be a click track. A lot of bands play with a click track live to make sure they're in sync with all of the different effects that they might have playing or backing tracks because maybe they're missing a member right now or who knows what, right? So you can daisy chain and have the signal going all throughout. That way you can hear exactly what parts of the backing tracks that you want to hear. Maybe you're somebody like me who gets super distracted really easily and you only want to hear the drums. That would be my ideal in-ear monitor setup. I don't need to hear the vocals, I just need to hear the drums. And that's something that the Phenyx Pro would allow you to set up very, very easily, and it would be reliable and work for you day in and day out, gig after gig. And it's kind of funny how easy it was to sync the body packs here. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more difficult, but I literally turned it on and made sure that my audio output was going into the input for the body pack that I wanted to use, or for the channel that I wanted to use, which is just channel 1, and then cranked up the volume and I immediately heard it. And it's still playing through this at the moment. Let's test the volume out here. I know y'all can't hear this part, but it's actually pretty loud too. I have my interface cranked as well, so if I turned it down, I'd probably get a little bit less volume, but these headphones aren't bad. They're not distorting even with me cranking that up, and there's drums going through that, and there's guitar, and it's not mixed, and so for all intent and purpose, it could actually be clipping for all I know, but it sounds pretty decent through these headphones still. So the next thing that Phenyx Pro talks about with these is the zero latency, and I'm going to test that out right now because I've got a guitar sitting right behind me, and we want to test out and see how that zero latency pans out. I have a tube amp behind me here. I'm gonna plug into my pedals, turn all of that on. And again, you all probably won't be able to hear this, but I just want to test and see what that latency, if any, feels like or sounds like. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't hear any latency. Let's go ahead and crank it. All right, now here's the real test. I'm gonna take one of these out. I'm gonna tuck it in my shirt so it doesn't fall down onto the guitar itself. Yeah, I'm listening to hear if there's any additional latency between when I hear the guitar strings themselves and hear the guitar tone in my ear. No additional latency other than what my amp sims themselves are introducing, which has nothing to do with this wireless system. And it's some like negligible amount of latency that the plugins introduce, but let's go ahead and play through the speakers here as well. All right, so this might all sound a little bit weird to y'all, but I have it coming through my speakers now as well. Nice. Honestly, that's great. So what I'm testing here is I have my guitar tone coming out of my studio monitors here, which are also coming out of my audio interface. Then the audio interface is going out and into the Phenyx Pro system here, and then into my ears via the wireless pack. And I have no additional latency whatsoever from what I'm hearing out of my ear with no headphone in and the ear with a headphone in. So this just gave me out of a completely different use, completely unnecessary use for this system, is that I could play my guitar wirelessly, silently, and not piss off my neighbors and my fiance. So that's actually another little added bonus there. Again, I don't need to, but it would be nice for when I'm filming videos, because when I'm filming videos, I end up being tied to my desk with a short cable and all of that, but I do have a wireless system for my guitar itself as well, which Phenyx Pro might also make one for all I know. I'll have to ask them about that. But compared to other wireless in-ear monitor systems that I've tried before, this is by far the easiest to set up. Like literally literally I was done in just a couple of seconds, just running an audio input into it and turning everything on, and it was ready to go. Obviously, there are a lot more elaborate in-ear monitor setups that you can work out with this exact unit. I'm not one of those people that needs to, so I just set up a very simple setup on it. But the audio quality sounds great, and I bet you if I plugged in my own headphones into this, it would sound even better, because since the audio pack uses a 3.5mm plug, I can plug in any headphones that I have. I can use my Sennheiser over-ear headphones if I want to. It doesn't have to be in-ear monitors like this. It can be whatever I want, whatever's most comfortable. And that's something that's super nice because it's not some proprietary type or anything. And the fact that you can set up 4 different audio mixes through this is going to make it perfect for all of you playing in a live band and need an in-ear monitor system set up, but don't want to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. At the time of me filming this, this is $490 US, I believe. I'll put it up on the screen if it's different, but I believe it's $490 US. And that's honestly a really good price for what you're getting out of this. You're getting 4 independently mixable channels that you can then daisy chain with the loop out, which is incredible. You can control all the volume and everything independently, so each of those 4 people can have a different monitor mix entirely. All right, so there's one more test that I need to do with this, and I'm gonna have to put my guitar away to do it. So let's go ahead and mute the guitar so that we don't have any unnecessary sound coming through it. All right, so we've got all that turned off. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna hit play real quick. All right, I turned off the speakers so y'all don't have to keep hearing that. I'm gonna turn it down in this monitor mix as well. And I'm gonna take that camera and we're gonna go see how far this can go. Take the pack and we're gonna go ahead and clip it on us. All right, and remember, I'm indoors right now too, so. Not even cutting out a little bit. We're gonna test it going out a door right now into my backyard. Surprised my puppy's being nice right now. All right, outside, doors shut, cool. So I'm all the way out in my backyard now, as you can see. But yeah, still not cutting out. And again, we're going through door, windows, and everything like that. So let's go back in so y'all can see me here. So that is already further than I have ever traveled on a stage. And that's pretty huge, right? The fact that I can then go outside and I have that much range. And imagine if I was on a stage, I could go to either end of the stage. It can be a huge 50, 100-foot stage, and I'm in a small arena for that matter. And this little $489 system is able to take that. It's kind of crazy, not gonna lie. That's what you get when you grab something like the Phenyx Pro system. I know I'm sounding like an infomercial here. Let me hit pause real quick because this is still playing in my ear. All right, let me put you all back down. All right, so as I was saying, that's what you're getting when you're getting something like the Phenyx Pro system. This is the 4-channel one. Again, if you are just a solo musician, maybe you only need 1 channel, maybe you only need 1 of these packs. In which case, your setup is even more simple than the traditional bands would be. And I mean, you saw how simple it was. I didn't do much to set this up. I plugged in a cable to it, made sure I was on the right channel, set up my antennas, and I was good to go. Plug in whatever headphones that you want to these. This is still in my ear, mind you. And as I told you earlier, I have odd-shaped ears, and this is still staying in. So I definitely trust these so far, and I can hear everything super clearly through them. So just to close things out, this is a professional-grade in-ear monitoring system. You've got 4 independent channels on here that you can mix any which way from Sunday, and you can then daisy chain to loop things any which way that you want to really customize the mixes per person, or you can have the same thing going to each mix if you want to. The wireless pack, really small, really light, really compact, and so you can clip it to your pocket, clip it to the back of your belt if you're a guitar player like myself, or a drummer for that matter. That way it stays out of the way. Honestly, I see most people just taping these things to their guitar straps, and that's a very, very simple way because then it's always on your guitar and you never have to worry about losing them. But the setup process was way more simple than I thought it was going to be. And it's definitely something that I can see pretty much anybody being able to do. This is a very approachable system. It's not one that you need to be scared of or feel intimidated by setting up. If you know how to plug in an audio face into your studio monitors, then you can definitely figure out how to set this up by plugging the output of a stage mixer or front of house into the inputs on this as well. And the LCD is extremely easy to read. I didn't have any issues with setting this up. If you need to resync your body packs or anything like that, you have your sync buttons right here. And it has a little IR sensor in the middle, which these body packs also have an IR sensor right here. And so when you go to sync them, you can actually just press sync 1, sync 2, sync 3, or sync 4, depending on which channel that you want that to be synced to. And then you hold the body pack's IR system right up to it. Makes it really quick and really simple. If you have like a guitarist that has one of these duct taped to their guitar shop, for instance, and you need to switch them to a different channel, but then it's good to go because that quick IR sync is just a one-touch setup and it's not something that you need to fuss with all the time. It's a lot easier than I expected it to be honest with you. And then the cool thing about the bass unit itself is you can add more body packs to it. You don't need to buy a whole other bass unit just to add more body packs. You can just go to Phenyx Pro's website, order more body packs. So if you do have a band that's 5 people or 6 people, so on and so forth, you can just buy more body packs and then you're able to add them to it just with that one touch pairing down there and have it be that simple. So especially if you're like let's say you're a jazz band that plays at a coffee shop all the time and you just want some on-stage monitors for whatever reason, you can actually add more body packs, just have them in a case with you, and then you can sync them easily on the go, as much or as little as you need. Now, as far as selecting the different UHF frequencies, which again, I want to emphasize over and over again that this does run on UHF, which makes this extremely reliable, as opposed to a lot of the other digital style ones that may incur a lot more interference. But when you look down here on the other camera that I've got here, so we have group 1, channel 1, right? So if I see G1 here and channel 1 here, it's as easy as just switching by pressing the button. So I'm on group 1, group 2, group 3, switch it back to group 1 here, and then channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. So it's just that easy to change frequencies. It's not something that you need to like have a huge learning curve for, which is really nice. And so you'll see all these different channels that I'm switching through and all the way back to channel 1, and that's exactly how I would have it set up. Same thing if I need to go to channel 2 now, I can switch all of these around as well. And it's just that easy to switch through them all. So literally just by the touch of buttons, there's not a ton of complicated menus to go through. And again, this is something that's really important because if you're in the moment and you're in the middle of a performance or about to start your performance for that matter, you don't want to have to be messing around if for some reason you switched up body packs or anything like that. So where does the Phenyx Pro excel? Well, you get the crystal clear mono audio, lasts you your entire performance, so you don't have to worry about it. You have the loop out so you can design the signal chain any which way that you want to, because you get 4 standalone mixes. That way each of those 4 different mixes can hear exactly what they need to. And this one bass unit can add more body packs. You can add as many as you need to, so that way you can have 5, 6, 7 piece band if you want to, even more if you need to. And then they can choose between those 4 different mixes so that they can hear exactly what they need as well. And all of that is easy to set up because you have the one touch pairing with these as well. So you just grab a new body pack and then you're able to touch sync 1, sync 2, sync 3, sync 4. And obviously that syncs it to whatever channel corresponds with that button. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You get a rugged body pack, you get a rugged bass unit, and it's rack mountable so that way you can hide it away and have it protected when it's being thrown into the back of the van or the tour bus or the back of your mom's car for that matter. Then there's the fact that you can get up to 164 feet away from it. Now that usually is line of sight, so if there's a brick wall or an aluminum or lead wall or something in between you and the bass unit, you might have some interference there or just a dropout. But as you saw in the video earlier, I went out through 2 different doors into my backyard and it was still connected. So I'd say it works pretty well. And the only thing I would be sure of if you're going to purchase one of these is to make sure of what frequency range that you need to use. So in the US, most people are going to use the 900 megahertz range, whereas others might use the 500 megahertz range. So make sure, do your due diligence. If you're worried about it, just make sure to send an email or contact Phenyx Pro. They're very responsive and they've been extremely helpful throughout all of this with me as well. In fact, they caught my mistake and sent me the right unit before I even knew that I had made a mistake, which I'm very grateful for because it allowed me to make this video a lot easier. So that's how I would use this. Now, down in the comments, let me know, how do you see yourself using a wireless unit such as this? Is there anything that I didn't talk about here that you would expect to see from this? Because I might have just forgotten to talk about it. Let me know down in the comments. If you decide to pick one of these up, I do have a link in the description, but I highly, highly, highly recommend to check out the Phenyx Pro if you've been looking into a wireless in-ear monitor system. It works great, it's built great, it's simple to use. I don't know what more you could ask for. But until next time, I'll talk to you all soon. Peace and love. Bye for now.